This is QTV Nightly News coming to you from our studio on Carab Avenue. I am Umudu Kajaga and thanks for joining us. First, here are the main news headlines. Bay Kanyang, a national human rights organization in the Gambia, is organizing 2 days training for human rights defenders and activists from across the country. We hear how one of only 3 elected female National Assembly members is surviving in the midst of the male-dominated National Assembly. We look at how salt water intrusion and theft are impacting the community of Badibu Ilyasa in the North Bank region. And in international news, the Commonwealth members have selected Shirley Ayoko Bochri as the new Secretary General of the 56 member state organization at the closing of its summit in Samoa. The Gambia's Dr. Mamadou Tangara had been one of those vying for the position. Also in international news, we examine how cultural exchange and learning can enhance cooperation between China and Africa. And in sports news, the Gambino Stars Africa Football Academy has returned after more than a week of training and friendly matches in Germany. Those were the news headlines, and now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you for joining us. This is QTV News. Bay Kanyang, a national human rights organization in the Gambia, is organizing a 2-day training for human rights defenders and activists from across the country. Mam Nabuka reports.
This training is aimed at enhancing the knowledge and skills of the participants in fostering the culture of human rights to build a strong foundation and strengthen the overall impact of human rights advocates in the country. Famara Jawane, the executive director of Bay Kanyang organization, said the training is part of the post-TRRC project funded by the UNDP in partnership with the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights and UN Peace Building Fund. He acknowledged the vital role of human rights defenders in fostering respect for equality and dignity of all individuals.
Human rights defenders all over the world plays an important role in making the world a better place for all of us. Individually or in groups, they act to promote, protect, or strive for the protection, realization of human rights and fundamental freedoms through peaceful means. You don't need to be a victim to speak for human rights. You don't need to wait until your family members are affected, because you touch one, you touch all as far as human rights are concerned.
Judy Oda, post-TRRC project, Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, whose office is bankrolling this training, said the human rights defenders have a critical role in monitoring the transitional justice process in the country. She said, however, human rights defenders, including journalists around the world, have come under constant attack, bullying, and online harassment.
According to data gathered by the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights in 2023, 320 human rights defenders, journalists, trade unions in 40 countries were killed. Kidnapping, detention, legal harassment, and online attacks are other major threats. With autocratic tendencies on the rise, criticism is criminalized and civic space is stifled in some countries under vaguely defined threats to national security.
Emmanuel Diouf, chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, hailed the Bay Kanyang as a strong community-based organization that is committed to its mission. He said the never again mantra could only be achieved if these participants live up to their responsibilities. He urged them to remain vigilant in this rapidly changing world.
Human rights defenders, they continue to play a crucial role in promoting democracy. They do that, the rule of law and justice, especially in countries like ours, the Gambia, where we still have a recent history of violation, and it is still fresh in our minds. As we go through this TJ process, this transitional justice process, it is important that we continue to support and empower human rights defenders.
By the end of this training, participants will establish the first ever network of human rights defenders in the Gambia to raise awareness about human rights among all stakeholders and facilitate timely sharing of experiences and information. Reporting for QTV News, I am Mamna Buka.
The Gambia has a low percentage of female political representation, and this is evident at the National Assembly, where of the 5 female members out of 58, only 3 are elected. QTV's Usman Jatta takes a closer look at how female names like Ami Koli of Fonyi Berefet, one of the 3 elected members, survive in the midst of the National Assembly male dominance.
The National Assembly is a battleground dominated by male names.
That is relevant to health. They must be coming to that. Deduction of salary. Today, if the minister's salary is deducted, that will be very painful to the minister.
No. You don't do it that way. Parliament, you don't shout.
Notwithstanding the high male dominance, Honorable Ami Koli, representative for Fonyi Berefet, survives and thrives.
Does not mean that the second presidents were taking the money itself.
Ami's journey to the National Assembly is because of her life-changing assignment as an agricultural extension worker. For nearly a decade, she dedicated all her time supporting women farmers, helping them register massive growth from their crop production.
Then that was the time when women requested for me to become their MP. They want me to stand for them as far as I am helping them at the constituency level. But when they told me at the beginning, I was afraid. I told them that I don't have anybody to assist me, checking my family background. We are poor. My father, all of my parents are late. Then I have only my mother. So who will help me? They told me that we will help you.
Out of 58 members, the National Assembly has 5 female names, 3 elected and 2 nominated. Here is Honorable Koli's take on the low female representation.
The challenge women are facing, only few women cannot tackle that problem. We might want to change something whereby we may not have supporters. They may see it as maybe women want to take over everything. So we may have a lot of challenges. But I wish we have a lot of female representatives in the Gambia Parliament.
Like her fellow female National Assembly members, Ami's work encounters some challenges.
Others will say that she cannot speak proper English. I don't care, because what I always say that I said English is not the language of my father. But I am here to represent people. What matters is how to represent my people and how to satisfy what people want. I cannot satisfy everybody.
Are you trying to say that the job is not an easy task?
Even eating food is not easy.
Despite the challenges she encounters in her work, Honorable Koli encourages women to stand on their feet to fight their plight.
Let them believe in themselves that they can do it. And let them stand firm to serve this nation, to help their fellow women. Sometimes I feel annoyed when I see what is happening at the market. Do you know that whatever these women are going through, I went through that. I was selling charcoal. I was selling fish pie. Whatever women are facing at Brikama or various markets, I see myself in them.
Honorable Koli's achievements speak for her in her constituency of Fonyi Berefet.
Within 8 months, I dug a borehole at Jalahokoto, which helped a lot of women because getting potable water, it was difficult for them. I provide a borehole for them. And also, I bought almost 10 football jerseys and gave all the villages in my constituency each a pair of football jerseys.
How do you feel as an MP, like being able to achieve all of these developments for your people?
I feel so happy and I feel so proud, and I always thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because whatever God don't approve, nobody can do it.
Honorable Ami Koli's story should energize the thousands of Gambian women striving for greater changes and opportunities in society. Usman Jatta, reporting for QTV News.
Salt intrusion and theft are among the major concerns raised by the agricultural community of Badibo Ilyasa in the North Bank region. Our regional correspondent Don Williams visited rice farms and fishing sites in the area, and this is his report.
Ilyasa, located 15 kilometers from Farafeni, consists of 8 satellite villages primarily inhabited by farmers and fishermen who rely on the Boabolong, a creek in the North Bank region. However, their livelihood is at risk of dying out due to salt intrusion. Here is Dauda Marong, a rice farmer, sharing his perspective on their challenges.
Bibi lala memun na kolea dati ni farabulo la karola wala munyintiko koyem batandige bake.
Our rice fields are facing a major challenge due to salt intrusion. which is limiting our ability to work effectively. Salt is spreading across the entire farm. And we are urgently seeking support to address this issue.
Ajaminti, a rice farmer, says while they face many challenges, the primary issue is saltwater intrusion.
There's an area in the rice fields that is blocked, causing water to enter forcefully at times. While we try to cultivate it, stagnant water often spoils the rice. Additionally, another area is unusable because of salt water. We are appealing for assistance to secure clean water so we can cultivate rice year-round. We are also dealing with an abundance of trees around our farms. When we plant our seedlings, birds nesting in these areas come down and uproot them. Furthermore, we lack a proper market for selling our vegetables. In the past, we gathered at the Farafeni market to sell our harvest, but now there's no adequate storage for our produce. As a result, any unsold vegetables are often wasted because we have no facilities to keep or process them.
Salt intrusion into farmlands can have several significant impacts, including reduced crop yields, soil degradation, loss of arable land, among others. For those whose livelihood is farming, it can mean the complete loss of that livelihood. Don Williams, QTV News, reporting from Eliasa.
From that report by Don Williams, we'll now go for a commercial break, and when we return, we still have some more international and sports news stories. Do stay tuned.
Welcome to the future of transportation in the Gambia. The Bertel Harding Highway, a 22-kilometer double carriageway, is set to revolutionize travel and connectivity in our beloved country. A 3-lane highway means more space for vehicles, smoother traffic flow, and reduced congestion. Each lane has a specific purpose. The leftmost lane for overtaking and faster vehicles, the middle lane for standard driving, and the rightmost lane for slower and turning vehicles.
Q Money and Orange Money has just made money transfer easier. Now you can send money from Gambia to Senegal directly from your Q Money wallet. So what are you waiting for? Get your Q Money account now and start sending money to your friends and families through Orange Money in Senegal now. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us. This is QTV News. And now, coming up next is international news. The Commonwealth members selected Shirley Ayoko Bochri as the new Secretary General of the 56 Member States Organization at the closing ceremony of its summit in Samoa. She replaces Britain's Patricia Scotland, who has been in the job since 2016. Aliou Cisse reports.
The incoming Secretary General is currently Ghana's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. She won the election ahead of the Gambia's Foreign Minister Dr. Mamadou Tangara and Lesotho's Senator Joshua Septiba. Writing on his official Facebook page, Dr. Mamadou Tangara congratulated Shirley Ayoko Bochri on her election by the Commonwealth Heads of Government as the incoming Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Honorable Bochri's vast experience and commitment to the values of the Commonwealth will be an asset for the institution and its member countries, wrote Dr. Tangara. Commonwealth leaders, including Gambia's Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow, ended the week-long summit in Samoa on Saturday. This is the first ever Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting hosted by a small island Pacific nation. Slavery and threat of climate change were major themes for representatives of the member countries. Leaders said the time had come for a discussion on whether Britain should commit to reparations for its role in the transatlantic slave trade. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, whose country has long rejected calls for financial compensation for nations affected by slavery, said the summit discussions were not about money. Leaders said in a joint statement they had agreed that the time has come for a meaningful, truthful and respectful conversation towards forging a common future based on equality. The joint statement also raised concern about the severe consequences of the climate crisis, including rising sea levels caused by climate change. More than half of the Commonwealth's members, including the Gambia, are small nations, many of them low-lying islands at risk from rising sea levels caused by climate change. In a speech at the summit, King Charles, who attended with Queen Camilla, said he understood from listening to people across Commonwealth how the most painful aspect of their past continue to resonate. However, there was no apology. The Commonwealth is a voluntary organization of 56 independent states with a combined population of 2.7 billion. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sise.
Cultural exchange and learning plays an important role in strengthening China-Africa cooperation. The Institute of African Studies at the Xinjiang Normal University in China is exposing Chinese people to Africa's culture. QTV's Jennifer Sonko visited the center and Sina reports.
Founded in September 2007, the Institute of African Studies in China is the only institute established specifically for African studies amongst China's universities. The institute serves as an interdisciplinary center that focuses on African politics, economics, culture, history, sociology, and languages. One of the core pillars of China-Africa cooperation is the promotion of cultural exchange and mutual learning. An African museum is housed in the Institute of African Studies, where various artifacts from African countries are displayed, and traditional African instruments such as the drum, kora, and the balafon are on display. African fabrics, clothes, and accessories made of Ankara fabric from Ghana are also on display. Yorojalo Amalian is the director of the African Museum at the Institute of African Studies. He lists some of the successes registered since the establishment of the institute.
More and more young Chinese discover this institute, discover the focus of this institute, and they would like to study in Africa. They would like to know more in Africa. The impact is that we help in terms of intellectual work, China-Africa cooperation. The Forum of China-Africa cooperation is inspired every year by the work made in this institute.
This is Gloria Gilbert Shana, a Tanzanian pursuing a Master of Teaching Chinese to speakers of other languages at Zhejiang Normal University in China. And during her free time, she often visits the African Museum at the Institute of African Studies, which has enhanced her knowledge of other African countries, traditions, and culture.
First one is it shows how Chinese or Asia in general value our African culture, and it gives us African students who are studying here in China to feel like we are in home. So we get the same feeling as we are back in home. So when we miss home, we can use the time to come here and to have a walk, to get a walk inside here and to feel, to touch something so as we can feel like we are in back home.
I engaged the founding director of the Institute of African Studies, Louis Hongwu, on how Africa is often associated with taking a back seat while China initiates much of the agenda in China-Africa cooperation. Here is his opinion.
China is one country, and Africa not is one country. Africa is one continent, included more than 15 countries. So Africa country is different. But today the China cooperation not only cooperation with the whole African continent, we also have the policy cooperation with every African country.
Africa and China have a strong relationship dating back to the end of Chinese Civil War in 1947.
Africa's votes in 1971 supported China's acquisition of a seat at the UN General Assembly and Security Council. This relationship has grown stronger since the first China-Africa Cooperation Summit held in November 2003 in Beijing. Reporting for KTV News from China, I am Jenna Bosonko.
Now to sports news. Gambino Stars Africa Football Academy have returned from over a week of training and friendly matches in Germany. The team, comprising the Academy's under-19s, put in some great performance away from home. Amadou Tamba visited the Academy base in Mandinari and filed state report.
The trip was Gambino's first training camp in Germany, which lasted over a week and a half. So the team visited the Bayern Munich campus as part of their cooperation with Red and Gold Football, a joint venture between FC Bayern Munich and Los Angeles Football Club, which promotes young talent. Gambino Stars Academy founder Helmut Hack facilitated the contacts for this trip, which has brought a lot of experience for these youngsters, both on and off the pitch. 15 young and vibrant talents from the academy, comprising 11 Gambians, 2 Senegalese, 1 Cameroonian, and 1 Ivorian, traveled with 3 support staff. Gambino Stars Africa took on the under-19s of top German clubs and won all 3 friendlies they were involved in. Won 3-2 against a mix of FC Bayern's under-19 and under-17 teams, as well as wins over SPVGG Grotefort under-17, SPVGG Unterhaching under-19 and under-17, scoring 10 goals and conceding just 4. Albert Martins, the president and scout of Gambino Stars Academy, says the friendlies were an opportunity to know the level and value of his academy.
It was a big dream also for me, for everybody who worked for that, but we have to be honest, this was even above what we expected. And the way we did it, not only the way we played unbelievable football. We showed that Gambians have so much talent, and Africa has so much talent.
With their wonderful displays in those friendlies, it will not be long before these youngsters realize their dreams of becoming professionals. Buba Sama, the team's goalkeeper, who is originally from Farafenni, attributes their success to determination and unity within the team.
This is our biggest experience, and it's our first time at Europe, and we experienced many things. So it was not an easy game for us, but our hard work, our dedication, and our hard trainings gave us the good results in this. So, and the boys really played, and we really played as a team.
Ansumana Samura, a young and exciting winger who could be the next revelation in Gambian football, was excited about the opportunity as he revealed that he learned a lot on this trip.
We trust ourselves, and then we can do it. We can able to finish them if we play as a team, and then fortunately, alhamdulillah, I thank our Lord, and then we did it, and then I'm so happy with my teammates and coach. The time I went to RS Arena, I saw the Champions League and their history. I told to myself, one day I will be here, and then one day I also want to win the Champions League.
Midfielder Keba Kamara says he is proud to be among those giving such an opportunity. He was among the players to visit Bayern's world-famous Allianz Arena for the 4th time and felt nervous stepping into a stadium which hosted the 2012 UEFA Champions League final.
We are united, we listen to each other, we play as a team, and that's why we win all the 3 games. My dream is to become a professional footballer.
Gambino Stars Africa, based in Mandinari, is making great strides in scouting young talent and guiding them along the path to realizing their football dreams, as well as impacting the transformation of football in the Gambia. For QTV News, Amadou Tamba.
Now, before we end this news bulletin, here is a recap of our main news headlines. Bay Kanyang, a national human rights organization in the Gambia, is organizing 2 days training for human rights defenders and activists from across the country. We heard how one of only 3 elected female National Assembly members is surviving in the midst of the male-dominated National Assembly. We look at how saltwater intrusion and theft are impacting the community of Badibu Ilyasa in the North Bank region. And in international news, the Commonwealth members have selected Shirley Ayako Botchri as the new Secretary General of the 56 member states organization at the closing of its summit in Samoa. The Gambia's Dr. Mamadou Tangara had been one of those vying for the position. Also in international news, we examine how cultural exchange and learning can enhance cooperation between China and Africa. And in sports news, the Gambino Stars Africa Football Academy have returned after more than a week of training and friendly matches in Germany. That's all we have time for in this news bulletin. Join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. for Week in Review with Ade Darame and Mamoudou Mbouch and Lamin D. Sanko doing the sign language interpretation. Thank you for watching.